Hayley Welch, aka the Hawk Tuah girl, is the perfect example of how to lose your entire audience as quickly as possible. From openly taking advantage of her fans, to lying during a Coffeezilla interview and denying any wrongdoing. It's no surprise that all of Hayley's social media stats are in the red and dropping fast. However, that decline seems to only be the beginning of Hayley's career downfall.
Thank you to all my true fans and all the people that actually watch my stuff and they keep up with me. We're trying to sort out all the pieces and stuff to like get all this figured out and make everything right. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
No, don't cry.
Let me pause it there a sec. I have seen a few videos of Hayley, and she seems like a genuine girl. She seems like a nice girl. She seems like well educated and not a social media idiot influencer that I think a lot of people are making her out to be. But she's apparently done some wrongdoing, and I mean, it's already it looks like it's clearly affected her. I mean, I don't know how well of an actress this girl is, but she seems affected. You know, I don't know if it was genuine, if her management done it, whatever. But I think it was something to do with the NFTs, like a crypto coin sort of thing, where she like scammed her audience. I don't really know the details of it, but I'm assuming that we're going to learn whilst we're watching. Let's see if we can learn some more, right?
Alright, don't cry. Don't cry. Everything's going to be good. We're going to be good.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today
welcome in,
we'll be
guys.
uncovering the crumbling
going on,
career of
Smorta?
Hayley Welch,
Timmy?
how she tried to fool the internet a second time, why her interview with FaZe is doing more harm than good, and her horrible comeback causing her to lose 90% of her fan base. Around 2 months ago, I uploaded this video detailing Hayley's journey to online notoriety. However, the long and short of it is that Hayley is the type of person who can leverage her meme status to build a notable podcasting platform and then throw it all away for a crypto pump and dump.
Hey y'all, it's Hayley, and I just want to say thank you for joining my space, and I also want to thank you for my 15,000 holders. We got snipe botted today, but we didn't sell a single token. This is just a launch, and I want to tell you I'm here to stay. The plan is to give these coins to my real fans, the ones that buy my merch, watch my podcast, donate to my charity. And I also wanted to tell you that I learned a lot along the way, but I just want to say screw the sniper bots and I'm not going anywhere.
Following her controversial crypto project, Hayley completely disappeared from social media with the hope that the heat would die down eventually. Well, it seems Hayley is ready to test the waters once again. On the 6th of February 2025, a new episode of the Hawk Tuah podcast was leaked online, and fans got front row seats to Hayley blaming everyone but herself for 40 minutes straight.
How do you feel?
I don't know, I'm still a little shook up about it.
How was the nap?
It was a very long nap. I would say that's what sucks about it too. I had to read that off a phone and like put it in my words, and I was like, anywho, I'm going to bed.
This is mainly for me, and again, why I wanted to come here and talk about this is because millions of people are going to watch this. Everybody's kind of waiting to hear what you say. Everyone's kind of waiting to see how this plays out. And 99% of these people don't know shit about crypto. Just
and
like
I'm
you.
one of them.
Just like you,
I'm
exactly.
one of them.
Exactly. And the ongoing joke on CT right now is like, if she just did this 2 days after Trump, she'd be okay.
Exactly.
Which isn't necessarily true because of the way it was done. And that's kind of the whole point, right? There's a right and a wrong way to do this.
I don't really understand what she's
and
done.
If
That's
you
what
have
I want
interest,
to
it's
hopefully learn. But
mostly important that your network and the people that you trust to walk into this market are exactly that, people that you can trust.
I think that's where I messed up.
For sure, for sure.
Unsurprisingly, the first few moments of the interview were dedicated to disarming viewers by making Hayley look like the victim, even going as far as pretending to cry.
Thank you to all my true fans and all the people that actually
okay, so he says pretending to cry. Okay. So she has we still haven't figured out what exactly she's done. I mean, I suppose this is just general knowledge now, but like I said, I stay out of the media. I wanted to learn what she's done and exactly down to the details, but let's go. Not gonna lie, but I'm confused. Yeah, me too, Meg. I mean, she has she's had this rise to fame through a viral clip on the internet, and then she's got loads of fans. Whoa!
Anto just got scared by Anto.
Mike Tiger. No, not Mike Tiger. Mark Tiger coming in with the gifted sub live on the video. Thank you, Mark. So she's gained a lot of followers, and then she's obviously monetizing whilst having this following. So she's got into a cryptocurrency coin situation and she's selling the coin. But then apparently what I've heard that it was then, I don't know, they refer to it as a pump and dump, which I don't really understand because I'm not really into crypto, but I'm assuming it's loads of people buy the coin, she receives the money, and then it's basically the coin's worthless. I don't know, but hopefully we'll find out.
Watch my stuff and they keep up with me. We're trying to sort out all the pieces and stuff to like get all this figured out and make everything right. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
No, don't cry. Don't cry. Everything's gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
To give the interview some legitimacy, FaZe would preface the interaction by stating that transparency was their top priority.
Make sure that we address everything.
Guys, if you are new here, please do hit that follow button live on Kick. We are recording this for a YouTube video. Welcome in, everybody, and let me know if you're here.
Get through all of exactly what happened. I think that it's really, really important at this point to be totally transparent about everything.
Here we go.
That happened with you and your partners and this launch and in crypto, and what makes this bad and what makes what Iggy Azalea is doing maybe even good, and what makes Trump's doing different, right? I want to get through all that. So I brought two guys that I live with and do this crypto shit at a very high level. I brought Thread Guy, he's the biggest streamer in crypto, and I brought Frank D Gods, who launched a very successful project last cycle, and he trades at a very high level. He's one of the.
Can I just say, it's really annoying how he's put this filter over the top. And I don't know if he's done it so that he doesn't get copyrighted for using their podcast, but it's extremely annoying. Welcome in, everybody. If you are here, please do hit that follow button. Killer Manis Flying, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in.
Best trencher trader guys. These guys are really, really sharp.
Welsh Dragon said apparently one person posted that they lost $35,000 thanks to her. Okay, there we go. Shadow123 coming in with a follow as well.
Last cycle, and he trades at a very high level. He's one of the best trencher trader guys. These guys are really, really sharp, and they know this market inside and out. And most importantly, they have front-facing brands, and their faces are everywhere, and we're all docs, and we all have to move militant, and we're all super, super passionate.
Considering the gravity of the situation and the damage Haley had caused to her audience, you'd think she'd put repairing her career over profit. But that wasn't the case. Briefly, 5 minutes into this career-defining interview, Haley shamelessly inserted a sponsored segment meant to further profit off the fans whom she'd already taken millions.
Alright, you guys, I only got one sponsor left because there's some real ones and they've stuck with me since every bit of this started. Game Time believes in me, y'all, and I believe in them.
Game Time's more loyal than most of y'all's mans out here.
Yeah, some of those guys just leave it the first opportunity they get. Not Game Time.
Hell yeah, this podcast ain't going nowhere, and neither are them Game Time deals.
Despite openly prioritizing her own financial gain over fans, Haley would describe her reasons for creating and promoting the Hawk token as more altruistic.
So,
Explain.
This idea got brought to me like months ago, and I was kind of, I don't want to do that. I don't know anything about it, and I've never heard the space is a good place to be. So I was like, I don't know about it, which we trusted the guy that come to us. He was a friend of, I don't know, a friend of a friend, I guess you can put him. That was my biggest mistake.
Yeah,
I probably should have looked into him.
We heard a little
bit
bit
more.
about him. Apparently he had like a pretty strong network in LA and kind of used that as leverage to, give himself a vouch. And I think the guy probably more or less overstated his qualifications in executing something like this, fair to say.
Yes.
Which is usually the case.
In addition, Haley threw everyone else under the bus as she painted her former collaborator, Doc Hollywood, as a shady individual and called her critic, CoffeeZilla, a scary person to converse with.
CoffeeZilla got on there. Yeah, scary guy, let me tell you. Don't ever want to have a conversation with him.
We're a little bit more charitable than Coffee. I think Coffee kind of has a little bit of disdain for crypto in general. Us, on the other hand, we live and breathe it.
Sorry, Meg the Peg. That podcast is drier than a rich tea biscuit. I mean, fuck it is pretty boring. It is a boring podcast, isn't it? They're probably just talking about crypto and how to make money. And it's not, unless you are, really desperate to become an entrepreneur and make money, it's not the most exciting, is it? Let's be honest.
Every day, we want to see crypto succeed. We do it every single day. But Coffee definitely, he's definitely asking the right questions. It's the way that he asks them, maybe, is why you guys can't really like
Yeah.
find a spot to like talk or have like any sort of conversation with each other. But we actually did talk to him. We had a conversation with him, and he gave us some broad questions to share and ask you. They're good questions.
Oh, that scares me if they come from him.
No, don't worry about it. Don't be scared.
He's such a scary guy.
Haley's narrative made it out to seem that she was a passive observer who wanted nothing but the best for her fans. But the structure of her business deal with Doc Hollywood tells a different story.
Internet always wants to know is like, do they offer you money up front, part of the tokens? Like, how did that work? Like,
so the deal, I can speak to that. So the deal that she did was like a brand image likeness deal where they paid her $125,000 up front. They were supposed to pay her $200,000 after the launch of the coin within 30 days. She was supposed to have full transparency to tokenomics and everything going on, which they did stay in communication about it, but it just was an ever-evolving game plan, essentially. So back-end participation was to always be mutually agreed, and what they had agreed on in the tokenomics was there was a 10% allocation of the token that would be on a 1-year lock and then a 3-year drip after that. Of that 10%, half of that was supposed to go to the company that created the project and half was to go to her. So out of 100% of the token, she would have had 5% at the end.
Remember this statement from Haley's team? It'll be important later. Circling back, Haley's lawyer claimed that the contract with Doc Hollywood didn't match the tokenomics they were given, and stated the issue was only noticed after the fact.
This kind of all was happening even without you really knowing or having view on any of it until post. You know, you're handling the cleanup and trying to protect Haley and trying to do right by Haley now, but you didn't have the opportunity to like.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
I negotiated the contract with the company.
5%, no?
Like accounting transparency rules and requirements that I added to the contract. SEC compliance.
So this is the thing when you get somebody who has come into the limelight without no experience and not being in the industry, is that, of course, whoever it is going to get absolutely poached by people who want to make money out of said person. And it's exactly what's happened. And it's what always happens, right? So she doesn't know anything about crypto, which she's not entitled to know anything about crypto. She doesn't need to know anything about crypto or anything for that matter. But if somebody comes there and says, look, and is transparent and says, look, you've got a massive following, right? You've got a huge following now. There's a really good way to monetize it, right? Everybody's in crypto. Look, this person, this creator, that creator, this creator. Everybody's doing this crypto, and look at the amount of money that they're earning, right? So we want to do that for you. And then she's gone, yeah, sweet. Like, I've got a big following now. I don't really know how to monetize it. Yeah, I mean, that's great. That's brilliant. Like, so she doesn't need to know anything about it because there's a team there that do. Do you know what I mean? So as she's sitting here kind of like a deer in the headlights, it's because that's why. She's even said, like, I don't know anything about this, which is fine. But a 5% return, was that for her? A 5% return for her? Like, wow, that's really not a good deal. Really. Surely you got to know what you're putting your face and name to, though. No one is that naive, right? I think it's common sense that you know what a crypto coin is, right? It's the ins and outs and the contracts and the agreements and the deals that she's a bit gauntless of. And yeah, that's what they told me. You know, I think from an outsider point of view, anyone can understand that I've released a coin. I've released a sharp coin. Buy it here. Do you know what I mean? It's a piece of merch that is not a physical piece of merch. It's a non-fungible token, whatever it's called. But the legalities, yeah, I don't think she understands. Which is fine. I'm just trying to see, because at the moment it seems like she's just been done by her management, but because she is the face of it, she's the one that gets the backlash. That's my understanding. But again, I don't know what the she's done yet.
Requirements I added into the contract that they would have to do as project manager. And so we continued to inquire all along the process about the tokenomics. It was kind of a shifting narrative and explanation of tokenomics. The most recent tokenomics that were given to us prior to the launch had the pre-sale investors being on a 1 month lock with a 1 year drip after that. That's pretty obvious on chain that didn't happen. But 80% of the supply is still in control. The dev still controls 80%.
And who are they?
I do not know who the dev is. That was never disclosed.
The contract already reeks of mismanagement. Tokenomics wasn't accurately discussed. Haley's team didn't even know who was creating the product they were shilling. And apparently, most of it is still controlled by unknown individuals, which leaves a clear question. How on earth did they think the project would work out well?
What was the pre-sale structure exactly?
I'm not certain to the structure of the pre-sale. There was a 17% allocation. Most of the pre-sale investors, my understanding is, were based in Asia.
Okay.
And there was, again, supposed to be a 1 month lock with a 1 year drip after that.
And how much was raised for that 17%?
2.8 million.
Despite Haley and her team's gross incompetence, FaZe thought the real issue with the token was that people were calling it a scam and making crypto look bad.
So this is what I'm talking about, right? So Daz has just said some greedy girl who doesn't understand crypto and lost everyone's money. Yeah. She's just trying to earn a living. I'm not backing her up, but she's trying to earn a living. At the moment, this is my understanding. Tiny Terminator says so they kind of fucked her over in a way. Yeah, I think it's more that side, right? That's what I think at the moment, but I don't know. No idea. Too many unknowns for a full picture, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of words here and there. There's a lot of words, like, yeah.
And then obviously we've seen this story a million fucking times, right? So we more or less know what happens. The issue for you is the millions and millions of people who farmed views off this and made stories about this and covered it. Your average fan, the average fucking middle America 16-year-old kid who's a fan of you, just sees crypto scam, which is again another huge part of the conversation that I'm passionate about, where it's just like crypto already has this bad rap, and it's because of things like this, and it's because the onboarding process is flawed, the barrier to entry is flawed. You probably don't even understand half of what's being talked about right now. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's a real language barrier, and the point is, like, if you have no business in crypto, you probably shouldn't be in.
Even though most of the interview's talking points were focused on sympathizing with Haley's poor introduction to crypto, her co-host thankfully brought up some ways she could help the people who were actually scammed by the token.
But I think if you took all the money that you made from the deal, whatever, and just like bought back the coin and then locked it up, I feel like that's a very like clear action that you can make, back to the community. And I think that would just like stamp it and the community can run with it. So that's like the idea that we were talking about.
As far as narrative goes and a gesture, I mean, you just fucking nailed that, by the way. And that would, you mentioned it earlier, 125,000 plus 100,000, or what did I hear?
Yeah, so
how much total money has been received due to this?
125,000 has
been received. Yeah. Basically what Frank just said in normal people terms is you take every dollar that you made on this and you mark it by this token and you lock it up. You walk away from it. You don't ever see that money. You can never touch it again. And you say, maybe I'm not going to talk about this every day, whatever, but I'm going to stand on business. I put my face on this. I'm accepting the responsibility that this happened. And hopefully, everybody is made whole at some point.
When presented with such a clear way to start undoing the havoc they caused, one would imagine Haley's team would gladly take the opportunity, especially after they claim to have good intentions from the start.
So what you need to remember as well is that Haley's team, they are nothing to do with Haley. They are a management company. They are a social media management company that wants to earn money. They don't give a fuck about Haley. It's two separate entities. I know that from personal experience. They don't care. It's any management company. They earn money from the talent. They have a roster of talent and they want to earn money from the talent. They don't want to give money back. So she's going to go to a management and go, like, I think that's a really good idea. Her management are going to go, why would you want to do that? Because this could happen, then that could happen, then that could happen. They're still going to fucking talk bad about you anyway. So they're going to give all the fucking cons, and then she's going to go, Yeah, you're right. No, it's probably not. And then again, she's the face because she's naive and she's being taken advantage of. That's where we're at the moment. That's my understanding of this whole situation. She does not understand what's going on. The media, even the caption of this video, the deserved end of the Tuah girl. His own video, he's clickbaiting it to get people in on it. And his narration is that she's been done over. Like, it's to clickbait again. It's to get people to watch it's attention. That's what it is. That is social media. That is media. That is everything. I mean, we'll continue and watch the rest of the video, but at the moment, she is by the looks of things, a young, naive girl that's been taken advantage of by huge corporations and management companies for money. Full stop. That's it. And, I mean, I'm a pretty good judge of character when it comes to people, and at the beginning of this video, I said, from what I've seen of her, she seems like a really genuine, sort of well-educated, not in crypto, well-educated, like, nice girl. You know, she's not one of these attention seeker kind of, you know, influencers that you do get that do really want to do anything they can to earn money. And I don't know, I personally think that is the case. There will be millions of people that disagree with my opinion because they will probably be the people that have maybe bought a coin and been fucked over. But I don't know. I don't think that she done this on her own by the sounds of things, but we're early in.
Unfortunately, Haley's team had other plans, as they took advantage of the hype around the interview.
Where are the people in her life giving her advice, though? This is way out of anyone's league in her life. That's my opinion. I saw your comment earlier, actually, Stacey, saying about a lawyer. Why has no one in her life looked into it before she signed her name to it? No legal advice. No one telling her to at least look into it first. Things like this come around pretty quick. You got to imagine how quick this has all gone for her. She does a video, which is out of her control because somebody's filming it. It goes online. It goes viral. Holy shit. That was me. She goes mega viral. She's being approached daily, multiple times a day. Come and work with our management company. We'll look after you. We'll get you this, get you this, get you this, get you this, get you this. She's gone to her mum. She's gone to her dad. She's gone to her aunt. She's gone to her uncle. Oh my God, this is fucking insane. I've got mega viral. I've got all these things. What shall I do? I mean, these guys are offering me all of this stuff and they're only taking 20%. They're taking 30%, but they're a bit... I'm going to go with these guys for 20%. Cool. She's got a management company. And then all these deals are coming in. And then there's this other one with the crypto. And there's blah, blah, blah. Her mum and dad, her brother, her fucking auntie... They ain't sitting there going, make sure you look at those contracts. It's going too quick. It's like this. Bum, 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 bum. Everyone's saying to her, whilst you're viral, go get it now. Go get it now because the virality will go down and then you will not get this money anymore. You'll not get this fame. You'll not get this attention whilst it's here. Go, go, go. It must have been so quick. And her management company have probably got an internal lawyer, an internal solicitor. We're gonna get that contract. We're gonna look over it from the internals. Okay, they've looked at it. They've picked up a couple of things. We're asking for a few amends. We're gonna make this solid. The management company would have lied, and I mean she's still with them, but they'll be doing it in a manipulative way where it's like we'll make sure that everything's fine. Don't worry. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. As soon as something goes bad. Oh my God, this has never happened to us before. Oh my God, I can't believe this has happened. It'll be that. It's that. That's my opinion on it all. Only because I've had a sniff at this side of the industry, and it is that. But let's carry on. Let's see what happens to the Tuah girl and the deserved end of her, apparently.
Interview to briefly pump the price of Hawk and sell some of the token. Almost immediately after, FaZe published a tweet completely disavowing the interview, reading, "So in an attempt to hear Haley Welch's side of the crypto scam story, I agreed to do her first podcast back. I had heavy stipulations, including 1. Not allowing markets to be manipulated by leaking this episode's existence before a resolution was found. 2. Her team finding a real solution regarding the money she made, where that should go, and what to do with the Hawk project project moving forwards. These were non-starters, and we were already told this episode would only ever see the light of day if we explicitly greenlit it. FaZe would also expose the reason why the podcast was leaked in the first place, reading, "We noticed a random spike in volume on the coin, along with random messages asking if we did the podcast. Very clearly, her team was not as solid as they claimed to be. Now today, the episode randomly gets leaked, the price of Hawk is pumping, and they completely effing fumbled the bag yet again. What a effing mess.
So
Poor
tell him
girl.
again.
It's a wonder how she found herself in this position in the first place. Now, Haley Welsh, I'm gonna speak to you directly and say the exact same thing I said to you on Spaces that night. Fire everybody, your team's redacted." Once again, Haley let her greed and lack of concern for fans get the better of her, and just like before, it landed right in CoffeeZilla's crosshairs. By the 8th of February 2025, CoffeeZilla published a video titled "Hawk Tuah is Back," which discussed the disastrous state of Haley's career and revealed some exclusive information about what's been going on behind the scenes.
I got on there. That scary guy, let me tell you, don't ever want to have a conversation with him.
Whoa. Don't ever want to have a conversation with me. Guys, I'm not intimidating. I don't know what's the problem here. I'm Joe Rogan inches tall, guys. It's not a striking figure here you're going to be scared of. If you meet me in person, you're not going to be like, you know? Relax. It's fine. Just get on the call. Let's have a conversation. I don't understand. And I also thought this was weird because Haley Welch's lawyer invited me on the show. In fact, like, really, really wanted me on their show and kept telling me how much Haley Welch liked me. Hence the t-shirt, you know. I used to like CoffeeZilla until he wouldn't come on my podcast. Then he is, you know, Voldemort, and we can't mention him. He's scary. Watch out. Don't talk about CoffeeZilla. He's
All right,
intimidating.
bro. Come on, move on.
Here's the message I got from her lawyer. Haley would like to have you on as a guest on her podcast. You'd be the first guest since the failed crypto token launch and would get significant amount of views, would be very friendly. This guy must not know me. She really likes you. Wow. I thought she didn't want to have a conversation with me. What gives? Yeah.
While CoffeeZilla declined the podcast appearance, he still wanted to know what happened between Haley's team and Doc Hollywood before the token's launch.
First, I don't want to rehab someone's image who scammed people. And I really felt that questions had not been answered that should have been answered, such as, what was the agreement with Haley Welch and with Doc Hollywood? Very simple question, right? Basically, Haley Welch's position is, oh, I was a victim. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how much, I was barely gonna make money, 125K plus like, you know, half of 10% of the tokens locked for a year, like this terrible deal I got taken advantage of by these monsters.
Jesus.
Like that was kind of their position. And all I wanted to know was,
She's doing it all for nothing as well.
Contract. Show me that that is true. And unfortunately, they were not able to give it. He's not in a position to share it, he says. I'm sorry. I said, can't verify anything you say then. Even what you told me about the 50% split, which I had heard Hawk Tuah Girl was going to make 50% of all the profits. And he kind of told me, no, that's just applies to the tokens. So I was like, oh, well, maybe she's less of a stakeholder in this than I thought. I don't know.
After this, CoffeeZilla explained that he gave FaZe certain questions to ask Haley, since they wouldn't share the contract and stipulated that the podcast would remain a secret until some positive changes were made. As we've already discussed, that condition wasn't met, and Haley's team would claim it was an editing error.
The guys behind it, and they said it was an editor mistake. Oh, oops. Yes, the guys who interviewed us thought we may have insider traded the coin, but this guy says he vouches for the internal team, saying it was none of them. And Better, which is Jake Paul's team, I guess, no way they would ever do something like that, guys. Believe us, we will likely never know the info leak. The clip posting leak today was an accidental by Better's editor who had the episode in the YouTube queue waiting on approvals to release. Now, I don't know if this is true or false. I thought the weird thing about this video is that, like, everyone has had, anyone in media who's, like, had a sensitive episode recorded.
Yeah, exactly, Welsh.
You don't, like, do all the work if you think it might get canned. Like, obviously, right? These people not only edited the show, they put an ad in the leaked version of the episode, okay? So I'm not saying it didn't leak. I'm saying it's highly convenient.
While the leaked interview might have been
The thing with that though is that when you edit a piece of content, you edit a piece of content to go live. That's irrelevant. I don't know why he's bringing that up. You know, you're not gonna edit the piece of video, piece of content, upload it to YouTube, and then, you know, unlisted, and then go, oh, it's been confirmed. Okay, cool. Remove that. Let's put the ad on. You just get it all ready. You're not going to upload it with no fucking sound, are you? You're just going to get it ready, and then when they get the green light, cool, put it out.
benefited Haley's team in the short term, it would ultimately come back to bite them, as it created some very obvious contradiction in their story, compared to the evidence from CoffeeZilla's investigation.
This is from Doc Hollywood himself, which, if you remember, is like the key guy. Here he is saying, we'll do best to make it as simple as possible. The pre-sale raise is 50-50 Project Haley. Fees for market making and LP is split between us and Haley 50-50. Now that's a very, very different story than I've been told up until this point. It wasn't 50-50 pre-sale. Like, that's millions of dollars pre-sale. The fees were millions of dollars, okay? Or like $1 million. And that's what I say. The story's very different. This guy says, I think you can safely distrust anything coming from Doc Hollywood's mouth. He's denying it. He's saying, that's not true. And then he says, look, I just can't have the contract published online, willing to let you see it with your own eyes, and saying that's why he was going to let me see it on the podcast. I said, well, these messages were prior to the failure of Hawk Tuah Coin. So I don't understand why would Doc lie? Like, this isn't him saying it to cover himself later. It's him like talking in a chat with other insiders back then.
Naturally, Haley's team denied the evidence and tried to cover it up with a different explanation.
Haley would benefit from such a bad contract if what you said is true. And this is really how I feel. Half of 10% of tokens plus 125K makes 0 sense for someone who's bringing in all of the name recognition. Like, you're bringing the whole thing and you're getting this like measly piece of the pie. It doesn't check out. Like, 125K is a lot of money, but they made like $4 million. So, wow. Then he says this, the contract says she was paid 125K on signing, 200K within 30 days of launch. Interesting, we didn't know that. And 50% of the net proceeds of the project with mutually agreed upon tokenomics. The tokenomics we agreed to were for half of the 10% of the tokens. Now, I want you guys to realize
it's very
that what
confusing,
he just said
yeah,
is backtracking on what he's been saying the entire time.
Very
He's been saying the entire time, oh, it's just 50% of the 10%. 50% of the tiny amount of tokenomics we're gonna get. No, what he's saying here, finally, he's giving us the real story. It's 50% of the net proceeds of the project.
Yeah.
Period.
He's asking
that
for
is
proof of the
completely
contract,
different
yes,
from what they've told me. And so I say 50% of the net proceeds does not mean half of 10%. It means 50% of net proceeds, which is market making, pre-sale. This is like $4 million that they talked about. And I don't know if he's just trying to play dumb here, but he goes, we were told by Memetic that MM fees and pre-sale funds were going to be used to run the project.
This led CoffeeZilla to the conclusion that they were downplaying their profit because it would likely implicate them legally.
And I'm just trying to say, like, you guys aren't the victims. I hope you guys are understanding that this is kind of my feeling in all this. They're trying to be like, oh, we barely made a dime. And that's just not true. Like, that's not what they stood to make. I said, what do you mean? You told me I could disregard what Doc said. Remember, he said, oh, you can disregard it. But y'all literally had a contract for 50% of net proceeds. Doc himself said the project was going to cost a few $100,000. If that's the case, pre-sale 2.8 million, fees 1 million, made almost $4 million. Y'all are contractually owed like 1.6 million. And then I shared another insider text I have from Doc Hollywood, where he says, what we can do is put a hard number to the side for the project as cost. Like, we spent a few $100,000 on the project already. That money will be paid back to us off top. Then the profit is paid out. If a few $100,000 is what it costs and the profit's paid out, who's the profit entitled to? Hawk Tuah Girl. That's who it is. And we're all being gaslit about like, oh, I'm the victim. I stood to make no money. Wrong. You wanted to make no money after you realized the money is like being scrutinized and being sued over and possibly being looked into by law enforcement. Like, we don't know.
Seeing no other way of denying it, Haley's team would admit that they were entitled to some of the profits, a revelation that discredited everything they said on the podcast.
You're right that as it stands, she may be entitled to whatever amounts. However, she was supposed to have mutual approval on tokenomics. Her not being given the opportunity to approve the transaction fees, SAFs, and pre-sale identities led to the end result. So
1 minute. So if she's getting, say she is getting 50% of profits, right? That doesn't get paid to her. That'll get paid to her team, her management team, right? Is it then that she gets 10% of that? Is that what it is? Possibly. Because the 50% isn't going to her, it's going to her team, which he is saying is her. Hayley is within that team, but the team will receive the money. The company will receive the money, then go, cool, we've got to sort all this stuff out. Okay, in the agreement, you get 10% of profits. Maybe.
So literally, he's admitting that he's been not telling the truth about how much money they stood to make. You're right, she may be entitled to millions of dollars from a scam? Like, what?
Regardless of what Hayley and her team say, the fact of the matter is that they were willing to act dishonestly with the people who were trying to help them remedy the situation. They only care about the fans when it bolsters Hayley's public image.
The only reason I'm carrying on this video now, because it's getting a bit freaking samey and boring, is I want to understand why the caption is the deserved end of the Hawktor girl.
And they would have gladly taken the profits from the token if it didn't come with the possibility of jail time. Fortunately for Hayley, she isn't going to have to worry about facing any legal consequences, as the SEC would drop their charges against her the following month. Her attorney gave TMZ the following explanation for the investigation's closure, reading, "The SEC closed the investigation without making any findings against or seeking any monetary sanctions from Hayley. Because they did not bring any action against her, there are no restrictions on what she can do in regards to crypto or securities in the future. With her legal troubles out of the way, Hayley must have felt that she could put everything behind her and return to her usual podcast uploads. Sadly for Hayley, the internet wasn't going to let her off the hook that easily. On the 8th of April 2025, Hayley uploaded the 16th episode of the Tuah podcast and brought on KSI as the main guest.
Okay, well, welcome back to another episode of Tuah. It's been a hot minute since we've been back here, but now we're the official owners of Tuah. And we may or may not have flew to London to get a very special guest for you. We got KSI.
Yo, live in the flesh, baby.
It was one thing to shamelessly crawl back to the audience you stole from, but it was another story to give them one of the most uninteresting interviews on the internet.
Yeah, I think it's better if I'm alive and healthy. Health is the most important thing. You know, more than money, more than family, etc.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you want to be there for your family, you gotta be healthy. So,
Gotta be good.
yeah.
You ever think I could box?
Would you want a box?
I actually do want to box.
Really?
You gotta give her some tips.
Yeah, I need some tips.
Throughout the interview, Hayley and her co-host barely asked any worthwhile questions, and completely relied on KSI's presence to carry the interview, something fans were quite willing to point out, with a comment reading, "When the guest has to carry the conversation on a podcast, you know it's cooked." Overall, the video was poorly received by users, with thousands of dislikes and one of the lowest view counts on her channel despite having such a high-profile guest. However, the negative reception didn't stop Hayley from releasing another episode a few days later. Unfortunately, the outcome would remain the same, if not worse, with a commenter stating, "She got a taste of success on the internet, ruined it with shitcoins. Now she's gonna be chasing getting 10k views on a video until she says fuck it and starts an OF." Hayley clearly wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Even after milking her audience with a scam coin, she still thought it would be possible to return to them and be welcomed with open arms. Unfortunately, things don't work that way on the internet, and no matter how much Hayley desperately wants to prolong her 15 minutes of fame, it truly seems her time is up. If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more...
I fucking didn't. What oh god, how fucking disrespectful. Like, he has just gone on for 25 minutes about how this girl has been taken advantage of, how she is not knowledgeable at all with anything that's happened, and she's pretty much the victim, to then in the last 15 seconds to say she thought that she could come back after scamming loads of people, and she thought that it was going to be fine, and really she should just, you know, accept her 15 minutes of fame, or whatever he fucking said at the end there, and then shares some very negative comments, basically bullying her and saying that she's gonna be chasing 10k views and she should just start. Like, wow. Wow, bro. Is that I mean, is that a non-biased ending to that video? I feel sorry for her, man. Like, I feel sorry for the people that lost all their money. Of course I do. But I feel sorry for people that are trapped within management companies and big corporations without the knowledge of knowing how to, you know, get through this industry as a naive beginner, you know.